Look at the sheer, engineered precision of the modern K-pop idol. This is the girl crush aesthetic, a fierce, hyper-stylized image of untouchable female power exported to the rest of the planet. The scale of this operation is staggering. We're talking about multiple Guinness World Records, billions of streams, and stadiums packed with fans who hang on every heavily choreographed movement. But beneath that massive commercial juggernaut is an origin story that looks wildly different. Before she was a global superstar, Rosé was a kid growing up in Australia, playing piano in her pajamas. Her early life was split down the middle. On Sundays, she'd sing at her local church, surrounded by her Korean friends. Then, on Monday, she'd go to school and blend right back in as a typical student. She loved living this semi-public musical life on the weekends, while remaining anonymous during the week. As a kid, she joked that the split identity felt exactly like living the plot of Hannah Montana. So how does a quiet Australian teenager go from singing in church to becoming the anchor of a fiercely engineered pop machine? And how did she manage to survive that machine to eventually find her own authentic voice? In 2012, her father pushed her to attend an audition for YG Entertainment when the massive Korean label came to Sydney looking for fresh talent. She showed up with her guitar, saying, "I won't give up," and out of the entire city's applicant pool, she was the solitary trainee accepted. YG didn't select her because she fit a pre-packaged idol mold. They signed her because of her raw, undeniable vocal mechanics. This diagram maps her massive, rare vocal range, spanning from the deep end of C3 up to an F6, but it's her control that stands out. She effortlessly glides from a soft head voice down into a thick chest voice without any audible break. The label immediately recognized the value of that distinctive tone. They took her deeply emotive, vulnerable vocal power and packaged it for mass global consumption. Her voice became the engine for Blackpink's signature girl crush concept, a meticulously curated brand of aggressive, untouchable confidence and female empowerment. The industry effectively monetized a raw, acoustic talent into a formidable global product. It set her on a trajectory where her public-facing power was disconnected from the quiet girl playing piano in Sydney. Behind the bulletproof pop star exterior, the recording studio is a space of intense friction. Rosé describes it as a vulnerable place where her private insecurities often surface. She experiences intense anxiety during the creative process. The thought of letting people hear her unfinished, imperfect ideas terrifies her because it strips away all that carefully engineered polish. That internal tension boiled over when it was time to plan the concept for her first solo project, On the Ground. The label pitched her the standard K-pop treatment, massive, dark, heavy production sets that mirrored the dominant Blackpink aesthetic. She looked at the plans and told them it felt completely untruthful. Instead, she demanded the exact opposite. She pushed for a scaled-down, domestic living room set, featuring almost no one else except herself and her puppy, Hank. Stripping away the fireworks and the heavy production served a deeper purpose. This was her first real act of rebellion against the corporate machine that built her. Now, after years of navigating those two distinct lives, she's finally merging the superstar and the acoustic kid into a single identity. This brings us to the release of her new solo album, simply titled Rosie. The title Rosie comes from a very specific place. This is the name her real-life friends and family use, a stark departure from the group-focused aesthetic of her past. The standard K-pop formula defines female empowerment through heavy styling, flawless choreography, and an intimidating gaze. But she is charting a different course. For her, true artistic empowerment means having the total agency to drop the armor and be entirely unguarded. She is taking that quiet, acoustic energy she developed in Australia and putting it on the biggest stages in the world, entirely on her own terms. By bringing her acoustic roots to the global stage, she's reclaimed her agency. After years of engineered perfection, her most powerful tool is simply being unguarded.